you're watching the Children's Corner. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is John Carrington with another episode of Magic Box. Well, today I have a wonderful story from the book Dragons and Things, and it's a wonderful book. You need to get a hold of a copy, but the name of this story is How the Earth Got Color. How the Earth got color? We're going to find out right now. How the Earth got color. One day the good Lord was walking in the Garden of Paradise. He was just a little bit bored with himself. Michael, who was one of the most beautiful and brave of all the archangels, saw him. He was very observant, and as an angel, being observant is very important. And he noticed that the good Lord seemed a bit down in the dumps. So he climbed down after him and suggested a game of archery. The very thing, said the good Lord excitedly. And he rushed off to get his bow and quiver of arrows. So carrying their equipment, they climbed the highest mountain in paradise to begin their practice. Well, said the good Lord, what shall we shoot at first? Thought Michael, putting his finger to his lips. How about the stars? The good Lord nodded a smile and suggested that Michael should go first. So Michael reached down, pulled out an arrow of pure white bone. He shot a fine shot right into the middle of a very large star. Great shot, said the good Lord. Then he pulled out an arrow of the finest ivory. Ivory, oh wow. And it was as white as milk, and it matched his bow perfectly. He aimed right into the middle of Michael's arrow. And lo and behold, Michael's arrow took the shot and it split Michael's bow and arrow in thousands of milky white clusters. Wow. Said Michael. It looks like another Milky Way. Now it was Michael's turn again. He pulled out an arrow of shining silver. He shot it at one of the planets called Saturn. Unfortunately, he missed. It hit one of Saturn's moons, and instead, my goodness, said Michael, the good Lord raised an eyebrow, and that made Michael give him a nervous little cough. Then the good Lord pulled out an arrow of gleaming gold, a golden arrow. And that golden arrow was placed in the bow, and the string was pulled, and he shot Michael's silver arrow right down the middle again. The moon exploded, showering silver and golden rocks all around the planet. Well, well, said Michael. It looks like you've shot rings around my arrow again. And that's probably how Saturn got its rings. But let's not stop there. Yes, it looks that way, doesn't it? Said the good Lord. I like it like that. It gives Saturn an interesting halo. Then he put his hand on his chin and turned to Michael. Speaking of halos, I think you better straighten up yours a bit. It does seem like it's getting a little bit crooked. Yes, Lord, said Michael humbly. He lowered his head with another nervous little cough and straightened his halo. He really was a very good archer. In fact, he was one of the best of all the good Lord's paradise. And sometimes he just got a little bit too anxious. That was all. The good Lord smiled gently and reminded him that it was his turn. This time Michael pulled out his most prized arrow. It was made of many colors. Every color you could imagine. There was some red and yellow, pink and blue, purple and orange, and green. It shone as pretty as all the jewel-like stars in the sky. Then aiming it directly at a very black and white looking planet called Earth. He hit it right in the middle. Wham! Bullseye! Shouted Michael excitedly. He just couldn't help admiring a good shot when he saw one. Yeah. The good Lord just smiled. Then, reaching into his quiver, he withdrew the most splendid arrow that Michael had ever seen. It was the arrow that all time had never practiced or even thought of. It was an arrow made of clear crystal and shone like the sun. You could even see yourself in it if you looked very carefully. Then the good Lord winked at Michael, as he had been saving this just for this special occasion. So mounting the crystal arrow in the ivory bow, he shot it off towards the earth. Needless to say, it hit Michael's arrow of many colors right in the middle. This time, the arrow exploded and it rained all those beautiful colors all over the four corners of the earth. Then the good Lord suggested that it was enough archery for one day, as he was getting tired. And really, Michael was rather glad, for it was now Michael who was feeling down in the dumps. So, packing up their equipment, they both went back to paradise to take a little nap. Oh, the end.
Colors, colors, everywhere. Some are
Yes, I am knees, if you please. Yes, I am knees, if you don't please. We are from the famous land of Siam. There are no finer cat than I am. No, I am. No, I am. No,
that fish swimming round and round.
I think we can reach it then take it down.
If we sneak up on it quietly,
There will be a head for you, a tail for me. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Who knows where milk comes from?
The refrigerator!
Before that.
The grocery store!
Why don't we visit a farm and see where milk really comes from?
Yeah. It's always a good idea to get down to the root of things.
Let me try! My turn! My turn!
Visiting a farm is a great way to learn.
It's an utter sensation.
Hey, give the udders a turn. Get it? Udders.
It's cool.
It's sweet!
Fresh from the farm.
Let's eat. Let's go to a farm.
Hi, Cassie. This is Mr. Wizard.
Hi. Hi, Mr. Wizard.
Hello.
So, what do wizards do anyway?
Well, I have a great poem that tells us all about them. Have you ever seen a wizard conjure magic like a blizzard, turning fairy into lizard in the land where wizards live? Did you ever see him dazzle dragons, demons in a frazzle? Use an herb including basil, getting them to always give. All the power he could manage, all the power he could damage, pressed together like a sandwich, sift it through his magic sieve. If you haven't ever done it, read a wizard like a sonnet, with a little magic on it, then you haven't learned to live.
Are you having fun on the Children's Corner show? My friends are. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
With the Magic Box, and it's story time. That's right. Here's a story from the book Dragons in Things. The title of this story is Toys. Toys. They are fun. Let's find out what happens with these toys. One day, the good Lord decided to take a stroll in the Garden of Paradise. It was a most splendid day for a walk, and many good souls were out. As he went along his way, he came upon an old man wandering along by himself. "Hello," said the good Lord in a jovial tone. "Nice day." The old man was taken by surprise, and realizing who it was that addressed him, he was stunned into speechlessness. Said the good Lord, clearing his throat. "Nice day for a walk," he repeated. "Oh, yes, indeed it is," the old man finally blurted out, regaining his composure a little. Lovely day, indeed for a walk." So they began strolling along together. They walked and talked of many exciting things. The stars, the skies, the planets, especially Earth. Suddenly the old man came to a stop. "What is it?" asked the good Lord. "Well," said the old man, hesitating, "there's just one thing I've always wondered about." "What was that?" asked the good Lord. "Well," said the old man slowly, "dinosaurs." "What in heaven's name was that all about?" "Oh," chuckled the good Lord. "That's when I was very young and just starting out. They were great fun, even if they weren't very sensible. But boy, what times I had with them. Oh, of course, as I matured, I had to put them away." "Put them away?" inquired the old man. "Saving them. I'll take them out and look at them. I'm saving them." "Saving them?" asked the old man. His eyes as big as two of the moons of Jupiter. "Oh, yes, oh my, yes," said the good Lord. "Someday, when all my children have come home, I'll take them out and have a great big show in the throne room. I want all my children to enjoy them. They always seem so fascinated by the stories from archaeologists have passed down about them." "Wow, that will be some show," said the old man. "I can hardly wait to see it." "Well, it's nice to have things to pass down to one's children," said the good Lord, longingly and lovingly. "I know what you mean," said the old man. "I had something like that when I was a boy. A box of tin soldiers. Great fun, too. I'd line them up and play for hours. Of course, when I grew up, I also put them away in a box. I kept them in my grandfather's trunk. Then, when my son came along, he brought them out and he would put them in our Christmas garden every year. I had hoped to pass them on down to my grandchildren and my grandsons and my great-grandsons. And what happened?" asked the good Lord. "Did you misplace them?" "Oh no," explained the old man. "It was when I came here that it happened. I left them to my son. My son's wife sold them to a collector of tin soldiers. They are quite valuable on Earth, and you know, they bring a good price." "What?" shouted the good Lord in such a terrible voice that the old man became very nervous. "She sold them?" "Oh, she got a good price for them," said the old man, "and they probably needed the money. Well, it will never be worth what they're going to cost her. It will never be worth what they're going to cost her." Said the good Lord, and he went thundering off down the road with the old man trying desperately to keep up behind him. He went straight to the throne room and threw open the door. Wham! All within froze at the intrusion. The old man was by now quite bewildered. Still, he could not resist taking the time to glance around. The throne room was his next favorite spot after the garden. It was an enormous place with a huge stage in the center. This was surrounded by rows and rows of thrones and chairs, and you never knew who you might meet there. All the names of the good Lord's children were etched on gold plates on the backs of each chair. You could walk around and see the names of those coming in the future, and so arrange to be there and greet them when they arrive. You could also meet those people who had led interesting and unique lives, and sometimes have a chat with them. The old man remembered fondly the first time he had accidentally bumped into the great Mr. Einstein. He was accompanied by none other than Socrates himself. They had inquired of the old man how the weather was. He would never forget eavesdropping in on the most interesting conversation. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Dr. Carl Jung, had a long debate on the theories of psychic deductions. Most especially, though, would be always remember his favorite personality, Will Rogers. He and Will had talked for hours and hours. So it was no wonder that the old man became sidetracked and began to dawdle behind the good Lord. It was also no wonder that every eye became riveted upon the two of them. The good Lord stormed down the row of beautiful thrones. These particular ones had inlaid with precious stones and jasper and onyx and numerous pearls. All the thrones were either made of gold or silver or brass. Some very special ones were carved entirely out of ivory. The old man recognized his own right away. He also recognized his wife's, his sons, and his daughter-in-laws, who had not yet arrived. The good Lord reached down to the throne of the son's wife and tore off the nameplate in his hand. He then went thundering down the aisles of the thrones till he came to a section of not too impressive brass ones. These were not inlaid at all, and it was very difficult to see the stage from them. The good Lord leaned down towards one and nailed the nameplate on it. "No," said the good Lord in a loud booming voice that echoed all around the throne room. "It will never be worth what it has cost her." The old man finally caught up with the good Lord. "Tell me," he said, quite out of breath and nonetheless curious, "what exactly has it cost her anyway?" "Why," said the good Lord with a twinkle in his eye, "one of the best seats in the house." The end.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I, Cassie Kepner, am the greatest magician in the world. Alakazam!
Well, I don't think you're the greatest magician in the world.
Really? Wanna bet?
Hey, bring me back! Bring me back!
Sorry, you wanted a bet. What you gonna give me?
I'll give you $100. Oh, please, please, bring me back! Please.
You wanted a bet. What you gonna give me?
I'll tell the whole world that you're the greatest magician in the whole entire world.
Okay, send to me the bet. Alakazam!
Oh, thank you. That was really scary. I was in some magical dimension. I
actually wonder what happened to people when I do that to them.
It's really scary. Won't do it again.
Okay. Well, you're watching the Magic Box. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I'm the Swummy Wummy, and I'm floating in the air.
Thank you. That was really scary. I was in some magical dimension. I
actually wonder what happened to people when I do that to them.
It's really scary. Won't do it again.
Okay. Well, you're watching the Magic Box. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I'm the Swummy Wummy, and I'm floating in the air. Corner Show. My friends are. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is Bubble Gary.
And this is Bubble Mary. Hope you had fun on the Children's Corner Show. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Happy with me. It's so hard to be confident in your abilities, but everyone has a special talent in which they can believe. H-A-P-P-Y, if I believe and try, I can be happy with me. H-A-P-P-Y, if I believe